Unscripted.
You know, with all the news going around, obviously Microsoft buying up studios and things like that, it's easy to forget that Sony had all this momentum going into next generation, including what now looks to be like an incredibly smooth pre-order plan with giving people just a day's notice or whatever. Now people are seeing just how much of a good idea that was. First of all, it kept the bots away from actually procuring the consoles because they usually have to set those up ahead of time. And second, it avoided long lines in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah, that's something to kind of keep an eye on as well. Where going out today looking for an Xbox Series S or an X, you notice that there were long lines at like GameStop and stuff like that, and very limited supply, even less supply than the PlayStation 5. Like the GameStop that I went to had 20 I believe 20 or 22 PS5 physical editions and I think 8 digital, and the GameStop had I think 12 Xbox Series X and 4 Xbox Series S, and again that was extremely limited supply, and there was like people lined up, and you know, everybody's wearing their masks and stuff like that. So it's a very sort of surreal experience. But Sony did drop some news. We got some news about the PlayStation 5 that could get people excited again. I don't know, we're gonna have to see how it goes. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help me out, you know what, I'm a small YouTuber. All you got to do, hit that like button, share it out, you know, tell your friends, all that kind of great stuff. It means the world to me. And if you really want to help me out, take a minute to consider subscribing, or you can hit the bell so you're notified of all the content. I do daily content. It's unscripted, all from the bottom of my heart, just my own personal opinions and stuff like that. So you guys have been fantastic. Shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, everybody in between. You are amazing, each and every one of you, and it means the world to me when you guys give me any kind of feedback and things like that. I appreciate it. I love the talking video games, and so a lot of you are surprised that we interact so much on like PSN or Twitter or Xbox Live, but yeah, I pretty much answer everybody that responds. So anyway, I wanted to kind of jump into this. So again, Microsoft made big splashes with the Bethesda buyout. We're not really sure what this is going to mean. I have to admit, for me personally, when I first saw that, I was like, whoa, this is a megaton. This is a huge announcement. This is exactly what I needed to get pushed into getting an Xbox Series X. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, when was the last Bethesda game you really completed? Well, it was Skyrim back on the Xbox 360. You know, I played Wolfenstein, and then I gave up on it. Wolfenstein 2, I never even started it. I own it. You know, I don't like Elder Scrolls Online. You know, I like Doom, the first one, but I got kind of lost and turned around in that and never went back. I didn't buy Doom 2. So realistically, for me personally, I'm not a big Bethesda fan. Fallout doesn't interest me. Everybody knows my hate relationship with Fallout. So, you know, that stuff doesn't really appeal to me. I know that there are people that stuff does appeal to, which I think is great, but I also think that Bethesda next year has 2 games confirmed. One of them, Ghostwire Tokyo, and the other, Deathloop. Both are still timed PlayStation 5 exclusives, even according to Microsoft. So they have to honor those deals, which I think that those are year-long exclusives for PlayStation 5, meaning Microsoft spent $7.5 billion to get PlayStation 5 2 timed exclusives for next year while giving their own owners nothing. I'm sure that they're going to put a bunch of old Bethesda games in Game Pass, but again, old games not exactly appealing for a new console or new console launch. So with that being said, you know, it's a very interesting idea and interesting situation that we all find ourselves in. And Sony, you know, obviously they're getting a little bit of praise today because they're the way they handled the pre-order situation, whereas Microsoft giving people notice, a lot of bots went out there and bought the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, and unfortunately that leaves some people without. But we do got some information. This actually leaked from a website which I will link, and developer, if you didn't know. So we knew that Assassin's Creed Valhalla was going to be 4K 60 on the Xbox Series X. Now everybody was assuming, and you know what happens when you assume, that the PlayStation 5 version would be lesser than that, but now it is actually confirmed to run 4K 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5, according to Eurogamer as well, which I will of course link this article in the description so you guys can all check that out. So again, what have I been saying all along? PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, there's not a huge difference. 16 to 18% difference total. It's the smallest difference between a launching Xbox and PlayStation that there's ever been. Think about it. Between the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, there's a 45% difference. this is a 16 to 18% difference. Not only that, but the Xbox Series X SDKs are coming in hot. We haven't even seen anything actually running on this thing yet, and Sony is said to have extremely mature, developed PlayStation 5 dev kits, so that really puts the edge on PlayStation 5. Now, things will continue to get better and better for them, and that's going to be a fantastic thing just going forward, but that wasn't all of it. I mean, Sony's been teasing a lot of stuff as well. Listen, also, just to get back on track, Sony doesn't need to quote-unquote answer Microsoft for everything that they do, right? Just because they bought out Bethesda, are those games going to be exclusive? I don't know. Something tells me that this is more of a Game Pass situation where they don't care so much if these games are exclusives as, you know, hey, are we going to be able to put them in Game Pass day and date? I think that's more what Microsoft cares about, honestly. So I still think that all the Elder Scrolls and all that kind of stuff is going to be something that comes to PlayStation at some point. And I think the Elder Scrolls 6 isn't even coming till 2025, 2026, something like that. So we got time to figure it out. In the meantime, the Bethesda buyout does nothing short-term or mid-term to actually help Xbox or the launch. I mean, yeah, it's a big deal that they bought that company, but what's it help for the launch of their new consoles? Nothing really. So yeah, that's a little bit disappointed, but Sony is actually talking about, everybody wants to know what the new create button is, and now we have some more details. A description of the PlayStation 5 HD camera on the PlayStation website has accidentally revealed some new tidbits about the DualSense controller's create button, which up until now hasn't actually featured heavily in any of the company's showcases. The website description of the HD camera reveals that the PS5 users will be able to start video capture or a live broadcast simply by clicking a button, much like the PS4. The webpage also mentioned the PS5 console's background removal tools, something the PS4 didn't execute too well. Here's a snippet. With the HD camera, you can add yourself to your gameplay videos while broadcasting in picture-in-picture mode with the ability to crop the background or lose it completely with a green screen. Sony has a couple of months until the PlayStation 5 obviously comes out, so hopefully we're going to hear more about it, but obviously they're going to take this thing a second step and do even further than they did with the original share button, which obviously came to take everything by storm, and they did an absolutely fantastic job with that. I think, everybody was like, when can we get a share button? Share button was like the thing to have for the longest time ever. So I really do find it to be a hilarious situation where we have this amazing feature coming and we don't yet really know much about it. Again, I guess due to the pandemic and stuff, we didn't get all the kind of information and news that we should have gotten. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that we're going to have to wait and see how this sort of plays itself out. But by the way, I do hope that if you were looking for a PlayStation 5 that you find one. I was hoping that if you are looking for an Xbox Series S or an X that you found one. It's no fun to go out there and not be able to get a console that you've been wanting, due to, shortages or the inability to actually get out there and sort of pre-order the way that you want to. So yeah, very interesting stuff to say the least. And I also think that, Sony, a lot of people think that they should, buy Rockstar, buy Konami. Listen, Sony doesn't need to do that. They don't need to respond. They don't need to sit there and react to everything that Sony does. I really do think that, I really do think that they will do something big, but I don't know if it's going to be buying a Rockstar or buying a CD Projekt Red, or I don't know that they have to do that. I do think that we probably will see more buyouts of companies, but I think you would think on a smaller scale, like Blue Point, some of these smaller studios that Sony works very well with. It's a surprising thing that Microsoft did by buying Bethesda, but if you look at Bethesda, they actually bought Bethesda at a low price point because most of their games tend to not really do well. They very much underperformed outside of Doom, and they take a long time to develop. So I think they were probably pretty close to closing up some studios or letting some people go, and so the buyout by Microsoft helps in a lot of aspects. Like, these developers now have a little bit of job security and some games to work on, and hopefully everybody kind of works out from this. Now, as somebody who is and was an Xbox fan, I really love the idea of Microsoft showing some courage and making these games exclusive to their platform, at least some of them, maybe some new ones or whatever. But I feel like if you're not making some of these games exclusive, then what the heck is it worth buying the studios for, right? Like, you got to have some kind of content on your platform that isn't available on the competing platforms, and I feel like Microsoft maybe still don't understand that. Maybe they'll start to understand it when people are buying the PlayStation 5 at like a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 rate, so we'll have to see how that works out. I realize Microsoft doesn't care be all end all on just exclusives or console sales, but if they had great content, they would be able to sell more consoles, and if you sell more consoles, you'd be able to sell more software, and you'd be able to sell more services. I realize 15 million Game Pass members seems like a lot, but when you take into account all the dollar deals or $3 deals or whatever, and we're in the middle of a pandemic, things have a way of kind of sorting themselves out. Like, we're not going to be in lockdown forever, and you know, people eventually are going to see that there's not a whole ton coming over the next year into Game Pass, and you know, I think people are going to kind of wake up when that happens. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. What do you think Sony has to do, if anything, to outdo what Microsoft did? Were you able to procure a PS5 or an Xbox Series S or an X? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy. I really do appreciate everybody checking out my videos. Take a minute to consider subscribing. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.